Hi, my name is Pip and this is my review of Miranda Hart's Is It Just Me? And if you're watching this video, I would imagine you know who Miranda Hart is. I can't imagine that this is the type of book you would want to know a review about if you don't know who Miranda Hart is and if you haven't watched Miranda, her TV show. I love Miranda Hart. Let's just start there. And the reason I decided to listen to this as an audiobook is because she has quite a quirky sense of humor, and I can only imagine, I could only imagine when I purchased this audiobook that this is the type of book that is best enjoyed when listening to your author read it for you. So kind of like Jonathan Van Ness's book Over the Top. And I was right. This is definitely a book that is best off listened to in audiobook format because I think the quirkiness with Miranda's dialogue, sometimes with herself, is going to come across best when read by her. If you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I'm a fan of biographies and autobiographies. I'm just not particularly a fan of lengthy reruns of childhood, and I love the way Miranda does that in this book. It's very non-standard, and basically the way she addresses her childhood is not by telling the story in a chronological pattern like we are very used to when you read autobiographies and biographies. What she does is she picks, I think it's 18 topics, and then she discusses those. So she then brings her childhood experiences in by having a conversation go between big Miranda and little Miranda, so her sort of 17, 18-year-old self having a conversation with her current time self. And I really loved this because it's a unique way of telling stories from the past and bringing up things that are relevant from the childhood and how they affect you as an adult without kind of harping on about it for an entire chapter. It was also very amusing, and it's kind of like, it resonated with me so much because I still remember what I was like at 18 and even younger, and you're just delusional, and it is really interesting to have her have what sounds very much like a legitimate conversation between your current self and your younger self, and kind of be like, hey, well, yeah, but you didn't really like doing that, did you? You were just doing that to fit in, or you were just doing that because you thought it was cool, or it's quite an interesting dialogue that gets going between Big Miranda and Little Miranda. Mostly this was hilarious. Very occasionally it kind of went on a little bit too long, but all in all, I really loved this as a way of making your moments from childhood relevant and also not dragging them out forever. I think this technique captures the very heart of all the ridiculous things you thought you'd be able to do by the time you turned 21, and all your really unrealistic expectations for life, but also like how different life turns out to what you thought it would be. Like, I thought I would be married and considering having a family by 28, and instead I was just starting my life again after having had cancer, and I was living in London, and I was using a calculator to work out how old I was because I legit couldn't work it out. There were so many points at which I thought there would be no need to ever write the story of my life because I could just refer people back to Miranda Hart's Is It Just Me, because there were so many areas where I was like, yep, that's not just you, that's me too. And I mean, one of them was, it's a small one because I don't want to spoil it, that she's talking about in your mid-30s, sorry about the cockatoos, they're just going crazy in the background, but in your mid-30s, you start growing your own vegetables because you want to grow what you're going to eat and you want to do good things for the environment. Yeah, and I just suddenly realized how similar she and I were, and it kind of made me go, dear God, I didn't realize how similar we were, and I just never realized it. If you want to read this book, chances are, like I said, you have seen the TV show Miranda, and this book is really just an extension on from that TV show. There are so many areas in this book where I just felt like Miranda was dead on, like about how people stop having fun and doing childish things because it's not seen to be appropriate once you reach a certain age threshold, even though it might be fun to like roll down a hill, or you start worrying that you're going to break yourself and get injured. And I mean, she's just so dead on. There's so many times where I've wanted to do things but you don't do it because it's like not appropriate for an adult to do it, or like you wait till you're hanging out with your friends who have kids and then you're rolling down the grass hill with them because it's fun. It is fun to do it. All in all, I really loved this book. I loved its non-traditional and unique structure, and it's the type of book that really lends itself to being listened to as an audiobook. Definitely, if you love Miranda Hart, check out this book. You will giggle along with her many, many times. It also gives you a lot of insight into her life. And like I said, it's an extension of the TV show Miranda, and it's also kind of like crazy how much of that stuff actually happened to her. So definitely check out this book. It is a very interesting read, but also nice and lighthearted, and you will definitely be smiling listening to this book. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video.